Good morning, everyone. Today's first press conference is with student athletes from Ole Miss. A couple reminders. No recording of the press conference is allowed. You can access all the information from the press conference on the NCAA portal. Still photography is allowed, but no flash photography, please. We have microphones. When you have a question, please raise your hand. I'll call on you. Please identify yourself, name, and media outlet. First question for the student athletes for Ole Miss. Please raise your hand, and we'll bring you a microphone right here in the second row.
Good morning. Tia Reed with the Clarion Ledger. A lot of this team is new. You guys have only been together for this year, but a lot of you have NCAA tournament experience, maybe at other schools. How does that help you all in getting ready for this tournament, even if your experience isn't together?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it just prepares everybody. I feel like everybody's just ready for this moment. It's not too big of lights for us. I feel like we're all just ready to come together and just be able to play.
Next question. Any other question? You have a follow-up question?
Cody, I actually wrote a story on you recently, and I talked to some of your old coaches, and kind of the gist was that you're the super competitive person. Where does that type of drive come from and being super competitive? Because they said it was something that even goes beyond like a lot of college or even pro players.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that I had to kind of build growing up. I grew up with my older brother and then my uncle and then my grandfather, so just a lot of men in my household. Being the only female, I kind of had to fight my way for a lot of things, and they never kind of gave anything to me easy, so I always had to work for it, and then me being the only female, I always wanted to be the best at it, and I feel like it just means more being the only female growing up, so honestly I just carry that on into life, and then it's just something that I kind of just developed and never got rid of, honestly.
Next question over here in the second row, then we'll go to the third row. Go ahead.
Cody, I was just going to ask you a little bit more about your decision to transfer and what it was about Ole Miss that felt right to you.
Yeah, honestly, I just think how my whole recruiting process kind of fell into place when I did enter the portal. I feel like just Coach Yo's intentions always felt the purest. And honestly, we went through a lot of ups and downs before I finally committed here, and she really stuck it out with me, so I think that was the biggest sign within itself that she always had my best interests.
Question here in the third row, then we'll go over here.
Charles Holman, Minnesota Sports Recorder. This is for both players. That very rarely do Minnesota fans see an all-black team play here if you're not in HBCU, also being coached by a black female. Can you speak on just the fact that you'll be showing people how to play and how important that is to show that and also playing for a black female coach?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Yo always talks about how people just can't be what they can't see, and just it's an honor for, I think, all of us to be able to show that and be a representation of that, and I feel like whenever we all do come out and compete, I feel like they're going to be able to take a lot of gems of what we're able to do, so I'm really honored to do that.
What she said.
Right here in the front row.
Well, Cody, let me ask you first. Evie Van Pelt with the Rebel Walk. So has it been what you expected getting to Ole Miss, when you went through the recruiting and transferred and everything? Has it been different than what you thought or the same?
No, honestly, I really didn't expect much. I mean, me and Coach Yo had a lot of conversations about what we both wanted from each other, to not only be successful within the season, but also just in life in general. And I feel like everything that we've talked about and everything that, we kind of promised each other is everything that we're accomplishing, and it's all just falling into place. So I would say it's everything I expected.
Feel like you've developed over this season above, even beyond what you were before you got here?
I mean, yeah, that was one of the biggest reasons why I did want to enter the portal, to just expand my game and just learn and develop. And I feel like I've developed into a whole different position. So, yeah, I would definitely say my game has expanded how I wanted it to, and I've developed and learned a lot more than I kind of expected to learn.
Okay. And for Christine, so you were on Team 50. Is there a different feeling with Team 51, or is it the same, or how does it compare?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like just with the new group of people, it's been a really different role for me to just be able to show them kind of like what to do, how to do it, and stuff. So just my role in general has been different, and then that feeling has just allowed me to come closer to everybody else. And I feel like everybody on this team is just so much. They enjoy being around each other so much. So yeah.
Right here in the second row.
Cody, a lot of people after this season, I imagine the next step for you will be the WNBA. I was just curious if you had any thoughts on them getting their CBA signed or agreed to yesterday, and what that could mean for your future.
I mean, it's great to know that, you know, things are finalized and stuff like that, and to know that everything is on track how it was supposed to be. But at the same time, I'm just being where my feet are, and, you know, all that stuff will come when the time is right.
Other questions for the student athletes? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The coach press conference will start at 11:05 Central Time. We need to hold fast to those times because of the Zoom option for reporters to join via Zoom. So 11:05 Central for Coach Yo. Once again, good morning. We'll continue with the coach press conference for Ole Miss. Couple reminders, no recording of the press conferences are allowed. You can access all the information from the press conference on the NCAA portal. Still photography is allowed, but no flash photography, please. We will start with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll go to questions from the media. Media, we have microphones. Please identify yourself by name and outlet when it's your turn. Coach, go ahead.
Sure. Just incredibly grateful to be here in Minneapolis. Had to really work on pronouncing that word. I used to struggle saying it coming up, but I've been practicing all since we found out that we were coming here. So really proud of myself for pronouncing it the right way to start. This is just a great opportunity for our team. This is a brand new season. We are grateful to be here, and we are excited about what's to come. Gonzaga being what's next. I have a lot of respect for Lisa. We go way, way, way back when I was an assistant at Portland, and we were in the original WCC. So just been in contact. I consider her in the coaching community a friend, and I look forward to us competing against each other tomorrow.
Thank you, Coach. First question for Coach. Right here, second row.
Good morning, Tia Reed, Clarion Ledger. This team is a lot of players that are here for their first year with Ole Miss, but they have tournament experience maybe elsewhere. How does that help you all in kind of bringing this all together and trying to go on a run here?
Yeah, that's a great question, and where to represent. You know, I thought about that because I was thinking about Gonzaga's makeup and then our makeup. In the Southeastern Conference, we don't get an opportunity to really be young. We have to stay old if we want to compete at a high level. And when we put this team together, we didn't only want to acquire talent, but we wanted to have experience. And so when I was going through our roster, I thought about how many have experienced the NCAA tournament, and then how many have experienced Sweet 16s, Elite 8s, and we have a good amount. Even when I put my staff together, the same thing. I got a coach that coaching the championship game. I have 2 assistant coaches that played in the Elite 8. Then you have myself. So a lot of experience with our team that I hope pushes us through this moment.
Question here in the front.
Charles Harmon, Minnesota Sports Recorder. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
You are one of 12 black coaches that have teams in the NCAA. I asked your players this, and I'm asking you this. Very few teams come here to play as an all-black team unless you're HBCU. So how important that is for the fans to see you as a coach and see your players play in an environment like this?
Yeah, you guys are cooking with these questions. You know, I think representation matters. I always tell everybody that when I get a chance, you can't be what you can't see. And I don't think that when we show up tomorrow in this space, we show up as ourselves. And my hope is that we inspire not only young black girls, but white girls in any race, because what we want to represent is excellence at the end of the day. I don't shy away. I'm not one of those that say I don't see color. I do see color because I'm proud of the skin I'm in. But I hope that we get to inspire people with how we play from all walks of life, young, old, black, white, it doesn't matter. But I did not know that. So I don't know much about Minnesota, honestly. Have I been here? I think the Final Four was here before, so maybe I've been here one time, but I'm not very familiar with the history behind it. But now that you say that, you know, that's something that gives me a lot of pride. But you know, it gives me the most pride. You know, my daughters are here, and one's 13 and one's 8. and they get to see basketball played at a high level, and they get to see leadership, and we get to normalize that. And my mom was a principal for 30 years, so all I know is black excellence, and my dad is a Hall of Fame coach. So for me, it's par for course, but I do understand that, this may be the first time, and I hope that we don't let these people down.
Question over here in the front.
Hi, Coach Joe. Evie Van Pelt with the Rebel Walk. I know you said on Selection Sunday you woke up and you still get butterflies.
Yeah.
So this is your 5th straight NCAA tournament. Does anything feel any different to you? Is it still the same?
Yeah. We're ready to play somebody, anybody. I woke up again this morning incredibly just pumped up, like, oh, God, I want to play someone. Like, I'm sick of watching film. I was kind of bummed when I saw we were matching up with the Zags because I'm familiar with them. And I think what I love about March Madness is you get to play someone you hadn't played before. It just gives like an excitement. But they are a new team and they're different. I'm very familiar with Gonzaga and Minnesota because of the coaches. Green Bay, not so much. So, but nevertheless, grateful and really excited to compete.
Can you give, there we go.
Yeah.
Can you give people who maybe don't know about your team word for this year, give?
Yeah.
Can you let them know what that means to you and your team?
Yeah, every year I pick a word for the team. I kind of let it organically come to me. This year's word is give. I just think in the environment that we're in, these young people receive so much. And there's nothing wrong with it, but that's really not how the world usually works. Most times, the people that do receive in life are givers. At least that's how I was raised. So I don't want them to miss that opportunity to understand that while they do take a lot and receive a lot, that is important for them to remember that they should give. And usually during tournament times, that's all I put on the board for my messaging. SEC play, give, and I circled it. Now I'm going to put that there and circle it because it's important that they give all that they can so that when they go out in the world and become citizens outside of the sport, they understand how important it is for them to give back.
Question over here in the second row.
Cody said she had some ups and downs in her being in the portal. The experience was a little bit, up and down, I guess. But she said she appreciated you having her back and your intentions and kind of what led her to pick Ole Miss. What was the perspective of, talking to her and bringing her in? Like,
where are you from? Who you represent?
I'm sorry, Dave Campbell with Associated Press. I'm based here in Minnesota.
Got it. Cody has been great. I just think she really caught me at a great time in my career. I'm a little bit more piped down. I thought I was a firecracker when I first came in. I thought it was important for everybody to know that I've arrived, especially after getting my head beat in the first 2 years. Now I don't feel that way, like Evie alluded to. This is our 5th NCAA tournament in a row, 5th 20-win season. So, unless you're under a rock, you kind of know what I'm about and what my program is about. And so Cody was able to get more of a balanced individual. I always try to give a shout out to my therapist, kind of work those things through. And I think my purpose in life now is to be an example for my players. So it's not so much more about me anymore. It's about them and making sure that they get a chance to see the right way. And so Cody is genuine and just a great individual that just really needed guidance. And I'm just really grateful that I'm the one that is been gifted that task to mentor her in that space.
Question middle, third row here.
Hi, Coach. Greg Lee with the Spokesman Review in Spokane. You referenced the youth of Gonzaga versus your experience, and Gonzaga has a freshman that was all-conference player of the year, Lauren Whitaker.
Yeah.
Talk about her, and what do you think about her?
Yeah, Lauren Whitaker is a beast. Just watching her play, I just love how Lisa uses her. I love what she's able to do from shooting the three. She's a three-level scorer. We don't necessarily have a post player like that in our league. So we're going to have to kind of, when she's on the perimeter, treat her like a guard. And then when she's inside, we gotta try to do what we can to not allow her to get deep steals. But I'm a basketball fan, so as soon as I started watching film, I'm like, man, this kid is incredible, and looking forward to seeing how we compete against her tomorrow.
Question here in the front.
Evie Van Pelt, the Rebel Walk. You mentioned your staff a little while ago and their postseason experience and stuff. Can you just talk about them a little bit and the contributions they've made this season to Team 51?
Yeah, first, I just want to talk about, so I've had changes on my staff, but one thing that has been consistent has been my support staff. They've been with me from the jump, from the athletic trainer to strength coach, to my ops, my director of player engagement. These people have been with me from the jump, and they really are the foundation. Chief of staff has been knowing me forever. They've been with me from the jump. So, as far as consistency and making sure that the culture and what this program is about, the Ole Miss way, is being echoed, it really starts from them first. Then when it gets to my coaches, I try to get people that adopt the 4 ins, and they believe in, they buy in, they lock in, and they're all in to what the Ole Miss way is about. And I think our coaches do a good job of making sure that they live that, and that our players understand that they are committed to that. They have a lot of experience. They're not new to this environment, and like when I hired Quentin Hillsman, ultimately I want to be a Final Four championship coach. I went and got someone that can do that, who's been there, that can guide me along the way. So just really appreciative for them and their efforts. But I didn't want to just say my coaches, because I have 19 people on staff, and all of them are so important to what we do every single day. And sometimes you just don't see them, but this thing is really moving smoothly, and it's because of them.
Question in the third row.
Hi, Coach. Adam Minter, Bloomberg Opinion. You've been one of the most eloquent figures in college basketball, period, on NIL specifically, and the opportunity that it presents to women athletes to demonstrate value in the marketplace. And I just wonder, with that in mind, if you could comment briefly on the WNBA's new CBA and what that will mean for recruiting, for players who are interested in pro pipelines, just what it changes from your perspective for you and other college coaches.
Man, gosh, I've been thinking about it. I just made a post just yesterday because I don't think my players understand how monumental that is. I've been a head coach for 13 years now, 8 at Ole Miss. And when I first started at Ole Miss, I was the lowest paid coach, and rightly so, because I hadn't earned the right to demand more. As I started to get in this seasoning and show my worth, I had to get to the negotiation table too. And I can just tell you, it's not easy. And it's not easy for women because we don't usually have to do it. We never had to fight for our value and our worth. And so it's an uncomfortable space. But to see the women in the WNBA fight for their value and their worth and get it, usually in negotiations, it's never, no one's happy. It's usually try to get in the middle. But to see them fight for the Codys, for Christines, for the Sirachinos, and the ones that are coming behind them and stand 10 toes, as my players would say, down and just really say, nah, we're going to fight for this. It's going to go down in history, and my children will talk about it later and benefit from it. And so, when I see all of these things, the NIL space, the CBA, and all of these things happen, I'm just really proud because it has to start from somewhere, you know? And for them to really fight for the players, it just means a lot. And I'll leave you with this. Like Agnes Baronato, I worked for her at Pitt. And we always had like really cool interactions. But one of the interactions she had, I had just got there from Portland, and she brought me and another female coach in the office, and she sat us down, and she said, let me tell you something. You know, she's Italian, and she's like, let me tell you something right now. She said, one day I'm not going to be doing this. She's retired now. She said, but you will need to stand in front and be an advocate for the sport in order for it to grow. And when she said that, I didn't quite understand that, but now that I'm in this space and now that I understand my platform, I know it's important to use it for things that will help move the sport ahead. And so, like, I'm still a baby in this. Like, you got Gino, they say he's been there 42 years. I'm 43. So, like, you know, Dawn's been at South Carolina 18 years. I've only been here 8, but I do understand that I have a platform and we do have to fight, and I know what it will do for the people that come behind me. I know what Pat and Vivian Stringer and Gino and all the likes have done for people, and Dawn have for people like me, and I know what those women just did. I know it's going to do for the people coming behind them, and I'm grateful for it.
Final question here in the second row.
Going back, speaking of that post that you made yesterday, I think you said in it something about, you know, this is my last thing before I get off for the weekend. And you did the same thing. Was it the SEC tournament?
Yeah.
Has that been a practice that you've done for a while, or is that kind of a new thing?
Yeah. At different times I get off of social media. At different times I'll just get off because sometimes you have to block out the noise. And so this is perfect timing for me. When we went on that little losing streak, I got off completely because I just think that the only people that matter right now is my family and the people that are around me 24/7. You know, I don't want to hear anything good nor bad. I just really want to lock in. So yes, I'm off social media so that I can really lock in and focus on the things that matter, and that's my team and my family right now.
Quick follow-up, please.
Yeah. And part of that noise, maybe you've seen or haven't seen, is kind of the analysts and public figures putting out their brackets. Like I know one, Barack Obama, I think, had you guys losing in the Sweet 16 when he put his out yesterday.
No way.
Do you like take those things, I guess, personally? Do they matter to you? Or is it kind of like this is the spirit of March Madness?
Well, two things. One is the spirit of March Madness. I didn't see that. I'm disappointed. But also, too, like, if I can find anything that I can use to piss me off, I kind of try to go with it. You know, that's that MJ theory. Like, I took it personal, you know? So if there's something that can get me ramped up, I usually try to use it. But really, honestly, in this space, I don't need much to get me pumped up to want to compete. We're here to win basketball games, you know, so that is the focus. But see, that's why I'm off social media, so I don't read stuff like that. Because sometimes it distracts me, too. I'll want to respond or something like that. And I don't really need to be in that space right now.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank y'all.
Next press conference will start at 12:25 with the Minnesota student athletes.